extraordinary history behind ordinary objects. I have read some of this already. I think I'm reading it in order. Yeah. So here's the bookmark. It says, "The bow whispers to the arrow before it speeds forth. Your freedom is mine." And that's a quote by Rabindranath Tagore. I'm probably pronouncing that name incorrectly, so I apologize. Today I'm reading about tattoos. Do you have tattoos or any tattoos? I do not. I just never wanted to commit to any design, but I do think they are cool. Okay. Otzi the Iceman is the oldest mummified human found, dating back to 5,300 years ago. Not only did he show evidence of pierced ears, but he also had at least 57 tattoos. The tattoos consist of dots and small crosses from his ankles to his neck. These are thought to be medical tattoos as opposed to decorative, since they correspond to joints that would have been strained throughout his lifetime. Thousands of years later, the tradition of tattoos continued with Egyptians, especially females. The mummified women were found to have tattoos on the tops of their thighs, breasts, and stomachs, and this is thought to have been done for protection during pregnancy and labor. Tattoos have been popular for centuries all over the world, with evidence found in Greece, Italy, China, Japan, and the Polynesian Islands, where the word tattoo comes from. It comes from the Tahitian word tatau, meaning to hit or strike. The practice was brought to Europe following Captain James Cook's expedition in 1769. When missionaries came to the islands and converted natives to Christianity, they tried to stop the practice of tattooing. It was thought to damage the body that was supposed to be kept a temple, but banning it was unsuccessful. Tattoos even spread in popularity, especially as a good luck charm among workers with high-risk jobs like miners or sailors. It's pretty much a toss-up who is more superstitious, actors or sailors. However, aside from the occasional real knife replacing a stage knife, acting doesn't come with as many fatalities as sailing does. Being out on the open sea for months or years at a time can really test one's patience and faith. It's no wonder sailors and also military personnel serving at sea sought anything that gave them a bit more luck, or to remind them of how far they'd traveled. Like a tattoo of a hula girl for Hawaii, or a dragon for China. Tattoos of swallows were earned every 5,000 nautical miles traveled, and anchors indicated the sailor had crossed the Atlantic Ocean. I think is that the swallow? Not even sure. Tattoos for luck included foot tattoos of pigs and roosters, which were shipped in crates during World War II. In the case of a shipwreck, these these crates would float and the animals would survive. Tattooing them on a sailor's feet, it says on a sailor's feet, was done in hope that the sailor would also survive a shipwreck. You've most likely seen nautical stars more often, as they're a particularly popular tattoo. That and a compass rose were symbols for a sailor of finding the way home. Next time you take a trip to Macy's, you can tell your friends the red star in the logo is part of the founder R.H. Macy's tattoo he got as a young boy on a whaling ship. The man most known for iconic tattoo designs, especially those associated with the sea, is Norman Collins, better known as Sailor Jerry. Influenced by Eastern art and technique, he made a name for himself in Hawaii, developed his own pigments, and influenced generations of future tattoo artists, including Ed Hardy. He was also responsible for popularizing single-use needles and using an autoclave to sterilize the instruments. Before the tattoo machines we have today, Native Americans and people of the Polynesian and Hawaiian Islands used sharpened bones or rocks to carve designs into flesh and then filled the wounds with soot from burnt candle nut shells or natural dye. The intricate and large tattoos associated with Samoan culture were made using a bamboo cutting tool with a comb that was dipped in ink and pierced the skin with the designs. A similar procedure was used in the 19th century with gypsies in Egypt tying several needles together and breaking the skin, then filling it with the soot from the burnt wood or oil mixed with pressed milk. When Thomas Edison invented the electric pen in 1876, it used a small motor to move a needle up and down on a piece of paper as a person was writing, creating a stencil for copying. It didn't catch on, unfortunately, but when tattoo artist Samuel F. O'Reilly saw the electric pen, he realized this could be a much faster way to tattoo the skin. Since the standard tattoo artist could only puncture the skin 2 or 3 times per second, while the machine quickened the process up to 50 times per second. In the 120 years tattoo machines have been used, there has been very little in the way of differences between O'Reilly's original idea and what tattoo artists use today. Did you know actor Sean Penn is a tattoo artist, and one of his clients was comedian David Spade, who sports a Calvin tattoo from the Calvin and Hobbes comic strip. The t-shirt. Maybe you remember seeing comical underwear in old cartoons called a union suit. This was usually a red flannel one piece with legs and arms, and probably what it's most known for, a butt flap. I know what they're talking about. Basically, it's the winterized bro romper of yesterday. In the late 1800s, workers would cut their union suits at the waist and would only wear the top half. century clothes makers had found a way to create a neck hole that didn't require buttons and could fit over one's head. The key to this innovation was the ability for the neck hole to snap back without getting stretched out. In 1905, the U.S. Navy made the plain white cotton undershirt part of its required uniform, and those working in the engineer rooms of ships could fashion the shirts for comfort. By World War I, the undershirt had made its way into the official uniform of the U.S. Army. Around that time, the word t-shirt first appeared in print in F. Scott Fitzgerald's This Side of Paradise. This Side of Paradise. There is a rumor that the t-shirt fell out of favor after the 1934 movie. It Happened One Night featured a scene in which Clark Gable unbuttons his shirt to reveal a naked chest. But there's no factual evidence to support the decline. In fact, it was another movie from the same decade that debuted what's considered the first appearance of a graphic t-shirt. In the movie, three men are seen stuffing straw into a scarecrow while wearing green t-shirts with the word Oz written on them. That movie, of course, is The Wizard of Oz. High school jocks were responsible for bringing t-shirts to the younger generation, since they were worn to keep football padding from chafing. But it was Marlon Brando's portrayal of Stanley Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire in 1951 that became most associated with wearing a t-shirt as outerwear. Soon after, the t-shirt became a blank fabric canvas for business and brands to showcase their logos. It's not just businesses that like to emblazon their logos on t-shirts. There are plenty of t-shirt trends throughout the years, like the Che Guevara shirt, for example. I don't know what that is, sorry. I guess they're gonna tell us. Marxist revolutionary Che Guevara's face became a popular design for t-shirts because of his association with overthrowing an oppressive government in Cuba. If I saw it, I would probably know. But he was also part of a movement to herald in Fidel Castro's communist government instead. Those who wear his face on t-shirts as a form of rebellion and individualism may not know that it was Che or Che who would round up rebellious youth on the streets and put them to work in camps. Like many trends that find their way into the zeitgeist, wearing the Che Guevara shirt became passé, especially when Urban Outfitters pulled merchandise with his face. In 2012, after an open letter condemned them for promoting a figure who represented anti-democratic views and the repression of millions under the communist regimes in Cuba and around the world. Another notable t-shirt came about when fashion designer Catherine Hamnett designed the white t-shirt with big black letters that says "Choose Life," seen in Wham's music video for Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Hamnett said she wanted her design to be copied, and similar large font slogans on shirts continued to be popular, notably as part of a short-lived 2011 trend with an episode of Glee called Born This Way, in which the characters use the shirts to highlight their unique attributes. Back in middle school, I remember begging my parents for a $40 t-shirt from Calvin Klein with the little C and big K. It seemed everyone had. When I saved up enough birthday money, I went and bought it, only to have the cool kids in school tell me I was a poser for wearing it since I didn't even own Calvin Klein jeans. My fridge is on now. I apologize if it's bothersome. If $40 sounds like a lot for a t-shirt, which it is, don't get me wrong, that's nothing compared to the public mockery that ensued when Kanye West teamed up with French fashion brand APC for a clothing line featuring a plain white tee called the Hip Hop T-shirt, priced at $120. If that's too steep for you, the following year he debuted the plain t-shirt, which again was a plain white t-shirt, retailing for only $90. I feel like it's so easy to find t-shirts that are like in the hundreds and thousands now even, but I've never found one that I thought was worth that much. When you watch a major sporting event like the Super Bowl or World Series, you may notice the winning team celebrating their victory and donning championship hats or t-shirts with their team's logo right away. The next day, victory garments are available at many major retailers for fans to purchase. It's pretty amazing those just happen to be handy, right? But what happens to the merchandise made for the losing team's non-existent victory that was also on hand? Good question. It used to be burned and destroyed since no one would want to buy an inaccurate shirt that said Atlanta Falcons 2017 Super Bowl champions. That is, unless you really, really hated the Patriots and only acknowledged the first half of the game. But today, somewhere in the world, people are wearing hats and shirts proclaiming the Falcons winner because of a group called World Vision, which collects unwanted sports attire and distributes it to people in disaster areas and impoverished nations. That's definitely better than just burning it. When the Colts lost the Super Bowl in 2010, the team's inaccurate victory merchandise was sent to Haiti, which had just been hit by an earthquake. Only about 10% of clothing donated in America gets put back on the American shelves at secondhand retailers like Goodwill or the Salvation Army. A huge proportion of it is compressed into bales and shipped to developing or impoverished countries to be bought at a low price, then put out for sale in street markets, including all those free promotional t-shirts you may have gotten. While this is seen as good for those street sellers, the low price of American secondhand clothing has put factories and handmade retailers in those countries out of business. If you're a husky-sized American donating your clothes, they don't do a lot of good in those countries where obesity isn't such a national problem. Those clothes either aren't accepted or they're sold to those with the means and skills to modify the garments to be put up for sale. Well, I mean, don't people want like oversized attire? Because in America, that's very trendy, is like wearing oversized t-shirts and hoodies and stuff. Wearing an ironic t-shirt has become associated with hipsters, especially featuring brands you've probably never heard of, or kitschy slogans and graphics for events they've probably never attended. But a Haiti-based photographer, Paolo Woods, shot a series of photographs showing out-of-place secondhand t-shirts being worn by Haitians, many of which made a full revolution of being made in sweatshops in Haiti, sent to America to be purchased This is my lucky shirt, which is stained and full of holes, and a young girl with dark hair and a shirt that says, kiss me, I'm a blonde. Then again, there are people like my husband who holds on to every t-shirt he gets until they mysteriously disappear when I do his laundry. And she wrote, until they mysteriously disappear when I do his laundry. Did you know the word t-shirt comes from its shape and was added to Webster's dictionary